How many cigarettes a day do you need to be considered a smoker? Smokers are defined as such in three ways: by social standards, by medical standards, by scientific study standards. By social standards, a woman who smokes a cigarette most afternoons with her lunchmate would likely declare herself not to be a smoker, and I believe most folks would agree with her. 4 or 5 cigarettes a week is not what we are thinking of when we say someone is a smoker or a non-smoker. By medical standards, even 3 or 4 a week would likely be considered a smoker for some medical situations, though perhaps not for the bulk of them in any meaningful way. By scientific study standards, it's usually a consideration of 2 things. 1. Having smoked at least either 100 or 200 cigarettes in one's life. 2. Having smoked some minimal amount at times over the years, and having smoked at least once in the last 30 days. There will also be a distinction made between cigar and cigarette smoking, and very likely between marijuana and tobacco smoking. There is another standard, one that's often used by very light smokers, who, similar to that woman noted in the social standards category, is likely to say, well, I'm not really a smoker, but, and then follow that up with stuff like just 2 or 3 a day, or just after meals, or if I'm on the phone or playing cards, or if my eyes are open, or, you get the idea, right? I personally say that someone who smokes less than a half that, or so in an average week, is not really a smoker. Health-wise, if they do that throughout their lives, their chances of lung cancer might double or even triple, but taking the ACS figure of lung cancer occurring in base non-smokers at a rate of between 2 and 4 out of a lifetime 1,000, that still leaves a person with between a bit less than 2 extra chances in 1,000 and 12 extra chances in 1,000 of lung cancer, not quite the doom scenario that's usually played up. However, it should be noted that things get very iffy down at these sorts of very low levels of smoking. Studies that purport to give numerical/statistical figures for such very low smoking generally lump together anyone who has smoked at least 1 cigarette in the last month, and generally smokes 1 to 5 per day, as opposed to 5 to 10, or between a half pack in a pack or a pack to 2 packs or over 2 packs per day. The 4 per week smoker will usually get lumped in with the 1 to 5 per day smokers, and a good number of the declared 1 to 5 per day smokers, wanting to appear good or wanting to please the questioner or just wanting to appease their own guilt by lying to themselves, those smokers may well be smoking closer to a half pack a day. What that bias will do is end up greatly exaggerating the risks of very light smoking, the 4 per week crowd. What's needed are studies that are cotinine verified, but even there, we run into a problem. We're usually looking for lifetime effects, and we certainly don't have weekly cotinine readings on thousands of people between their childhood and eventual death years. So, that all being said, and emphasizing for any who don't know, I am not a doctor. I believe the figures publicized by those researching smoking with the hope of inducing people to avoid smoking are likely to display a bias toward showing excess risk for things like lung cancer, HOT, and long-term heart disease when very low levels of smoking are being discussed. Finally, I have seen, although I can't currently find it in my clubbing filing system here, at least 1 or 2 studies out there that have indeed tried to look specifically at 1 per day type smokers, and that may have verified those results with serum cotinine/nicotine measurements. If you're familiar with such studies and can provide pointers to them, I'd appreciate it. MJM, who aced physics and flunked filing.